Welcome back, Beefy Boys, episode 134. Got a little summer look ahead here, intertwined with the Canonori. That's what it should have been, the Vettori Cannoneer breakdown. Potentially one of the best performances we've ever seen in a UFC fight. For sure on the feet it was. I mean, grappling, there really wasn't much to be talked about there. Other than that, we also have some more Keith Peterson controversy. Who would have guessed? That's a crazy thing to say, right? And then maybe one or two prospects we want to hype up, but we do have a little bit of a different format for this week's card. Summer's kicking off, which means Dominic's birthday just happened. Shout out to D-Mac last year before 30, and he did it right.
Yeah,
Went to Vegas. How was it?
fucking great, bro. It was my first time in Vegas as an adult. I went once as like a kid, but obviously much different situation. But because you hear mixed reviews from Vegas. I feel like Vegas is very polarizing. You'll hear some people saying, "Oh, it's bullshit. It's all fugazi. It's all gimmicks. It's all touristy bullshit." And you'll hear other people, "Oh, it's the best place ever. That's where we go for every vacation." Bro, I'm firmly pro Vegas. Like firmly pro Vegas. Like Vegas is fucking sick. And this is somebody who lives in Reno, lives in Nevada. Also, I'll say Reno doesn't hold a candle to Vegas. I mean, we have better weather, prettier views, but as far as like having a good time, I like that conversation needs to end right now.
Yeah, but also, I mean, homelessness, major city problems. I think Vegas has a lot more of those than Reno. Like I will say, Reno has like a nice, cleanly, like small town feel. Vegas cannot have that small town feel. There's no way. Biggest city in the world it's supposed to be. Like that's what it's replicating.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, bro, I mean, granted, I was staying in pretty I was on the strip on Fremont Street, but like relatively clean. I wasn't seeing a lot of ratchet shit happening. My cousin and them took a couple bus stops too early and got off in the hood. They said they saw some ratchet shit, but like all the places where pretty much you're supposed to be, like are fine by me, bro. Like, I mean, I had a great fucking time. What is it? Circa over on Fremont Street has a sick sports book. It's like a movie theater essentially, but it's like movie theater style seating with like a movie theater, like an IMAX size screen, but it's like broken down into like multiple screens. Like that would be a hell of a place. Like all I could think of was like, God damn it, I wish it was NFL season. Like to watch like
every
8 games. Yeah, that shit was sick. No. Overall, had a great time. I don't want to get too far down that wormhole, but yeah, had a great time in Vegas. Sorry for the late episode. I watched the fights like 3 days late. I had like a 48 hours in Vegas, so I really was like trying to like cram as much in as possible.
Who's gonna blame you, bro? Like, have your Hunter S. Thompson birthday weekend.
Yeah, no, it was a great time, but yeah, that's why we're doing this little different format. We're just gonna touch on some of the highlights, some of the big kind of talking points of last week's card. Then we're gonna transition to like a look ahead to next week's card. So slightly different format this week. We fucking hit 133 cards in a row. I did not want to break the streak on account of my birthday and my ass having a good time in Vegas. So, Harris, we're doing this in the middle of the night, Harrison's time. I really appreciate you being a trooper. It might not be our most viewed episode, whatever. I did not want the streak to end, and I wanted to talk about last week's fights, next week's fights. So, without further ado, we'll dive right in.
You're gonna say the word dive amidst this horrible global event.
We're gonna hop in a fucking tuna can and we're gonna dive down into this card. Fucking, who knows if we'll return? But
the amount of submarine jokes we've made already is absurd. I'm sorry. All right.
Would you say that's a low blow? I'm sorry. I can't.
That's Jacques Cousteau low.
We got to stop up. We had an official Beefy Boy parlay, which we're going to be trying to do more of. Like, not try to have our cake and eat it too, or have one of us get hot. We're trying to like consensus, put our minds together, us and our buddy Michael. We call him the third Beefy Boy. And we're really trying to have like an official Beefy Boy parlay every week. Usually between 3 and 5 legs, between just depending on what we're feeling, how we're feeling. This week was a 4-legger. We took Bleda, Sabatini, Duncan, and Vettori all money lines.
Dominic, as a scumbag, also took a hedge on Cannoneer by decision that he told no one about.
Plus 280. Because, No, it's like the sports book I go to, like the props are kind of limited and they don't necessarily always match the number on best fight odds or
Oh,
whatever. So like
you were
it was
getting
kind of like
live
a
odds, my friend, this weekend.
it was kind of a fucking like game time decision. I was
Hmm.
at the little sports book
Did you
little
go live bet
kiosk.
anything? I didn't even think about
No,
that because you could have live bet, dude. Speaking of live betting, think about Petrosian or I'm sorry, Sarukian when he got rocked and almost finished, and the guy was plus like 10,000 right then. Can you imagine?
I do believe I got down there on Sunday and I was working during the fight Saturday. So yeah, the live betting wasn't really an
Oh,
option. What would have been sweet. That would have been a great example of when to live bet. But yeah, so I mean, the first leg of the parlay looking good. Blada hits, and then we keep it pushing. The next little talking point we got here is we got some Keith all nonsense Peterson controversy in the Carlos Hernandez Dennis Bondar fight on the prelims, which was a pretty sick fight. And Carlos Hernandez was performing really well as a plus 120 underdog. Um, in the third round, it was a couple minutes into the third round. I'm pretty conflicted. I've been dying to hear your take on this. Like, I don't have like a bold take.
oh shit! ESPN coming over the top. I forgot to mute it today. Sorry, everyone. All right, you have a bold take. You said.
Will Compton, no free shout outs. But no, actually, I'm saying the opposite. I kind of don't have a hot take. Like I see both sides. Like so, there was like a big slam takedown. It was pretty sick. He like slammed. Hernandez slammed Bondar basically like on his head, but like they were kind of chest to chest as they hit the mat. Bondar's head hits the mat like whiplash style, Tua Tagovailoa style, bangs off the mat and then like ricochets into the head of Hernandez. Like a clash of heads does take place. Like I think that's undeniable. Now, if
So
you can,
so I have the simple solution here, D-Mac. We DQ Bondar for a headbutt. Who headbutted who? Sounds like Bondar headbutted Hernandez. I don't know if I'm lawyer balling that here, but whose head
well,
bounced
no,
into
like
the others?
by the letter of the law, like that's what I'm saying. I don't have a firm, hot, scorching take here. I can really see all sides. I see Hernandez and Dominic Cruz was firmly in the Hernandez camp of like, hey, that's a wrestling move.
Yeah,
That's not
that's
a foul in
you.
the sport of wrestling.
You,
Um,
you can't.
I thought Cruz had a great night on the mic, and I've been historically kind of hard on Cruz. I'm not the biggest Cruz guy. I thought Cruz had a great night on the mic. The Cruz Felder. You know who had a bad night on the mic was Fitzgerald. He was whiffing with some of these joke attempts, and it was a rough night for Fitzgerald. Usually, I let Fitzgerald slide. He's kind of a nerd, and then like I usually am not the biggest fan of Cruz's commentary, especially on Keith Peterson fights, but. I mean, Cruz is getting vindicated like by the week.
I also can. Okay, so definitely don't think it should be a clash of head stoppage. Don't think it should be a scored round 3 early stoppage. I don't understand. So it's not a finish; it's a decision.
It's a TKO.
It's officially a you. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're in camp. You're in Team Hernandez, Team Cruz. That's a fight. Like that's like a move.
You should
Like in
try to
football,
do
they'll
that
say
every
like it's a
time.
football move.
You
Like
should
did he
try to
make
do
a
that every
football
time.
move?
Like every
Yeah.
time.
I see. Yeah, no, and I don't disagree. Like I don't think it was malicious intent. I don't think it was dirty. I don't think it was cheap. Um, honestly, like I'm not mad at either guy. Like it wasn't Fugaze, like it wasn't some Aljamain Sterling shit. Like he was out cold. Like so, I don't think Bondar necessarily did
Can
anything wrong either.
can we talk about the elbows Bondar ate and how Peterson didn't stop those?
So many, bro. Like it was like all
Like
right, bro. Like all right, I get it. Like it happened quick. Maybe you're not sure that he's unconscious. Like two of those bows with undefended, this like limp neck. Like
right.
he ate like what 6, 7, 8, like so many.
Like I
It was
think
like
three.
honestly kind of tough to watch. Like,
Yeah.
like there's only been I can probably count on one hand like violent MMA moments that I like couldn't like kind of remove myself from and
Like the
like I'm
Derek
not
Lewis
a
Curtis
softy
Blades
here.
one was pretty tough. Just
Like
because
there's
you heard
been
him like moaning in the background, it was like, oh,
or who was that girl that was cut to fucking shit from Oklahoma City?
oh, Sarah
Alpar.
Alpar.
that one stands out. Like there's been a bit, like I said, I can probably count on one hand, like violent MMA moments that I just like couldn't allow myself to enjoy. Like it was just a little much. I just didn't really sit right with me. This made the list, bro. I mean, it was like
it was
felt
brutal.
like I was watching like something like
a
on
corpse
the dark
getting
web,
lit
like
off the ground,
dude,
like because his body was
not
just shut
good.
off. He was just shut off, eating probably 5 full weight elbows down. It was really, really brutal, man. It was really tough.
So not to belabor the point, because we're kind of doing an expedited episode here. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here. Yeah, I think something else we've never seen in the Beefy Boy era, where like a finish, because it was ruled a clash of heads, and enough time that it eclipsed in the third round. It was like 3 minutes into the third round or some shit.
It was 4 minutes 59 seconds. There was 1 second left in the fight. That's why it makes no sense.
Bizarre. Okay, I didn't realize it was that late.
Technically, if you would stop with the bows, there's 5 seconds. He gives him 4 seconds of bows, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened. The fight should. That's what I'm saying. Keith Peterson dropped the ball like 2, 3, 4.
This should be a 4 minute 55 second TKO third round, which doesn't really matter because he's going to win the decision either way.
Yeah. So we go to the scorecards because of some weird loophole. With Hernandez, the right man still wins the fight. I scored the fight 29-28. One judge agrees with me. Yeah, so we both saw it the same way. But you're right. Like, it felt weird. It felt lawyer ball. This 1,000% should have probably not only been a finish, but probably a bonus as well. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully the Dana Duffel in the background for the man.
Because he was a plus 110 dog. Yeah, man, I don't know. I thought it was phenomenal performance for Hernandez. He looked good at other moments in the fight. It sucks that it was kind of marred by this, but honestly, kind of get some cheap headlines out of it. Nobody else would probably be talking about this fight if that didn't happen. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise for old Hernandez. And Keith All Nonsense Peterson, like seriously, is like fucking up. Like that was cigarette and whiskey energy, hard. Like, because like I said, all right. You a pass. We're all human. The slam, nobody. I mean, who knows if that was a knockout clash? Like that's hard to see in real time. The bows, like that's unacceptable. Like you're fucked. Like you fucked up.
That's where he lost me. Was like, bro. Not only did you like questionably not stop the fight when it should have been, then you just let him get rained on with bows, and then you said he was knocked out because of the clash of heads and not also because of the bows.
Yeah, exactly. And then also Dominic Cruz kept mentioning the point, and then we'll keep it pushing after this, that like I think technically he was knocked out from the canvas. I think his neck was limp enough to bounce forward into Hernandez's head because he was unconscious from the mat. So like it was like a dead body's head was the clash of heads. Like he was already cold. Like that was a slam KO, I think, more than anything, almost like we saw. Was that Monkey King that got a slam KO?
Yeah.
Or like yeah, like
right.
I guess
Jordan Levitt.
If I had to fucking like give an official like Beefy Boy Dom take, it's like that it was a slam TKO.
Yeah, 4 minute 55 second third round.
A foul occurred after the fight was over, in my opinion. Like
it was brutal.
Me.
It was brutal. Now, I do want to ask you one quick question as we keep it pushing. What did you think about the cardio machine, Nicholas Dalby?
Man, the cardio machine, Nicholas Dalby, I just honestly don't like watching him fight.
Yeah, it's boring as hell. I agree.
It's boring. And
it's oddly effective, though.
Oddly effective, oddly boring.
Almost a Colby Covington that doesn't talk shit.
That doesn't talk shit or like, is not as good of a wrestler or push as good of a pet. Yeah, he's like mid-grade Colby.
And is also 38 years old, so like everything.
Yeah, you can't get excited. Yeah, for sure. Also, just Alessandro Costa got a bonus on the featured prelim, unfortunately, against Jimmy Flick, Oklahoma's own Jimmy Flick. It's not looking good for Jimmy. I really wanted to root for this guy. We had an Oklahoma guy out here getting flying triangles. The hype was building. We had the retirement. Now it's not looking great. I don't want to be too disparaging. I would still love to do a podcast with him someday, like shake his hand, like have a beer with him, whatever the case may be. Like respect the hell out of him, but it's just it's like it's not looking good career, like trajectory wise. Just I wanted to touch on that, the Oklahoma fighters, but yeah, we'll keep it pushing here.
Manuel Torres.
Because Manuel Torres, I think we got a guy, bro. Like, I think we got a guy. Now, it's always hard in lightweight to say we got a guy because it's so deep. But as we mentioned, now's the time for these guys because the older guys are fading out. There's a lot of opportunity at lightweight. The older, Gagey said he has a couple fights left. Islam's already champ. He probably has, two? I don't think he's going to fight for 8 more years. He's probably pulling Khabib.
I don't think he's gonna. God dang it! Why is
no free shout outs?
Why is this website? We're gonna handle this. I got this handled. Don't worry.
Handle it. But
okay.
Yeah, Manuel Torres. We're doing a kind of, like I said, expedited episode, so we're not diving into X's and O's here. But even if we did, bro, this fight lasted 1 minute and 50 seconds. The step in elbow to just absolutely separate Mota from consciousness was like so perfectly timed. Paul Felder's wood, you could hear it thumping the bottom of the desk. And Felder's a guy known for elbows, and he had to stop himself. He was about to say that was the best elbow I've ever seen, and he was like, "That was the best elbow I've seen in quite some time." Like, he wanted to just go full blown, be like, "That's the go elbow I just witnessed," and it was epic. If you get an elbow praise from Felder, that's all. You don't need to hear it from me. Hear it from him. Like, he's the elbow. He's expert, black belt in elbows.
For me, best strike of the night, I think. Best singular strike of the night. I think that's without question.
Oh yeah.
I did put it in the KO of the year. Put that question mark there. It's so clean that I think it has to be there, and it's
so clean, so fast,
violent too.
So clean, so fast, and I'll be real. This is one where Torres was a minus 190 favorite. I kind of like Mota dog money. I thought Vegas clearly, the casinos didn't build themselves, but I was like, oh, they're kind of tripping on this one, but no, it was kind of, if you don't know now, I think Torres hadn't fought in 9 months, and he only had one other fight before that, which was another first round finish. So he's 2-0 in the UFC, 2 first round finishes. I'm down to shovel some coal, bro. I'm down to put a little hype in the train. Like Manuel Torres, until proven otherwise, is honestly kind of Hamzatting guys. This was in a very different style, but as far as just running through hot knife through butter, he's Hamzatting these guys.
All right, so 2021 Dana White Contender Series, first round, 2 minute 10-second KO.
Woo!
Someone England, I don't know. UFC debut, 3 minute 27-second KO. Frank Camacho, actually a pretty good name.
Hey. For a debut,
and now
sure.
1 minute 50-second finish of Nicholas Mota.
Mota's not a scrub in my opinion. I kind of like Mota. That's a good win.
Well, and I guess I would assume Torres either got injured or said that he wanted to work on his game a little bit, because previously he took 8-9 months between a fight, and this time he took 15.
That's a long time.
This time he took 13 months. So I would imagine he probably had an injury that held him out, or he had told him, maybe I just want to take 6 months to work on a skill set now that I have this money. Probably got a bonus on that Camacho win. But yeah, I'm big on Manuel Torres. Put the coal on the train, put him on the Beefy Boys wagon.
The Mexican wave, there was the Dagestani invasion. We're on the Mexican wave right now. Old boy from Black Panther 2. But no, seriously, sign me up for more Manuel Torres. Hopefully he's more active, because what a treat this guy is.
I agree, man. I agree. But yeah, let's keep it pushing to Pat Sabatini. We did get a hit here, thank God.
Yeah, second leg of the parlay. Parlay was sitting at 2-0, man. I was feeling pretty good, because I managed to so I went to Vegas. I didn't bet a single penny in Vegas.
Wow.
I was, not many people can say that. It's weird. I love betting MMA, but I'm really not a big gambler. Slot machines, craps, poker. That ain't my. I like playing poker at the house with some buddies. Fucking, $20 in the pot or whatever. Drinking
beer, shooting the shit.
But as far as this is how I'm gonna come up. I don't know. That's just not my bag. But I was like, people asked me, I was like, well, technically, I did bet this weekend. Like, I was like, I bet on these fights. I didn't know if they cashed or not. But yeah, man. I mean, Sabatini's one of these guys.
Best place to shop for the leading mattress.
It's just all the free shout outs tonight. But
I thought I had it handled. I swear I did.
Sabatini's one of these guys where he had all the right people vouching for him, right? Felder and all the Philly boys, Sean Brady, they're all vouching for this guy. He was on a hell of a run. Now, Damon Jackson, the first round knockout, I still don't know what to make of that fight because Jackson has proven to not be that guy. He's the only person that makes Sabatini not look like that guy. That loss made me lose a lot of stock in Sabatini. I think Vegas, too, as the reason why he was minus 200 here, which was perfect for our parlay. Like, minus 200s in a four-legger are fucking chef's kiss. But I don't know, bro. Like, where are you at on Sabatini? Like,
he finds himself.
Did he just right the ship?
He's in a weird spot, but I think he's in a good spot. That being said, with a lot of the featherweights kind of starting to get older, with Emmett leading that wave. Holloway's still young, but Zombie's old. Dan Ige's old. Like, I think you're starting to see the real turnover at bantamweight or featherweight.
And matchup, I think takeaway is matchup. Like, he does what he does.
Right.
Maybe better than anyone in the division. Like, seriously. Like I mean, obviously, like, I'm not saying he's the best grappler, but like as far as getting it to the map, that top pressure,
he's kind of got the Aljamain Sterling approach if you really think about it.
Yeah,
which I believe that's his camp. I believe he's Sarah Longo.
No. He's Philly and the boys with Felder and Brady.
Philly,
and
yeah. Sorry, I knew it was Northeast. I knew it was Northeast.
East Coast. But yeah, man. He like does what he does. I mean, up there. I mean, Volk isn't. He's the anti-specialist. Volk is like as well-rounded as they possibly could come. You know what I'm saying? And like Holloway though, striker. Ortega grappling, but like jiu-jitsu back game. Kind of old school jiu-jitsu
or like
grappler,
jump your neck in a transition standing, like very
that's
weird.
What I'm
like
saying.
He's dangerous,
but like dangerous, but like different than Sabatini. Like Sabatini's gonna. I don't know if featherweight has another like grinder. Like I will take you down.
Topuria is kind of like, well, that's what he wants to be. That's what Bryce Mitchell wants to be.
See, I think in a perfect world, Mitchell's Ortega. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, but Mitchell is pretty offensive with his takedowns.
No, you're right, but
Topuria is a dog for takedowns.
Sabatini's like top pressure and control, natively over all those guys you just listed.
I mean, I would agree, but also
I think Topuria is better ground and pound. Like I'm not like it's very specific the compliment I'm giving Sabatini. You know what I'm saying? All those other guys are better fighters, more well-rounded. But, like, Sabatini does what he does.
I just don't know that his actual takedowns are that good. I think his pressure is really good. I think his ability to get people on the fence is really good. I don't know that he's able to get people to the ground super well.
And when he doesn't, it doesn't end up working out great. Like, I feel like he's a specialist. He's kind of an old school. He's kind of a throwback. He's kind of a specialist in a way.
He's like a grinder control specialist. But he will get violent with the ground and pound whenever he does secure the takedown. Also on the feet. I mean, in this fight, he beat the living shit out of Almeida. Like, this fight wasn't even close. The arm triangle was a pretty fucking nice way out, considering how hard Almeida was getting hit.
Yeah. Did you go round 110-8?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So much damage. So, like, the takedown was instant, too. It was like 4.5 minutes of control. Maybe even 4:40.
I mean, think about this. The fight was 6 minutes 48 seconds. Pat Sabatini had 6 minutes 27 seconds of control.
Yeah, that paints a fucking picture.
D-Mac,
but also like
D-Mac, he landed 88 of 97 strikes.
That's got to be some kind of close to being record. Maybe not though, but like that's impressive as fuck. So much damage though is what we're getting at. Like super active. We're talking about top controller. Like I don't know. And like Lucas Almeida is no fucking joke, dude. 14-1 coming into this. I mean, legit, dude. Good guy. I thought. I don't know. You laughed. I mean, you don't like that?
No, I agree. Like, I mean, Vegas liked him a little bit too, giving him only what, plus 230? Is that what it was? Plus
160.
Yeah, I went the other way. I'm sorry. I always fucking do that. Plus 160, yeah. So, yeah, plus 160. Like,
I wish that's how it worked.
I know, yeah.
Don't we all?
But yeah, plus 160, like, that's a very live dog. Now, we obviously like Sabatini here for good reason, I think. But
yeah, that was
like the offensive grinder wrestling negates anyone with jiu-jitsu. We've just seen it time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough matchup in the featherweight division. I'll probably leave it at that. But like, he's a tough night out
for some.
But yeah,
some. I think guys with super high takedown defense rates like punish him if they're good strikers. There are a few of those guys, but like,
yeah, it's the elite of the elite for sure. And I don't want to spend a ton of time on this next one, mainly because we take an L. But Petrosny and Christian Leroy Duncan. Christian Leroy Duncan coming in 8-0. A lot of hype on him. Vegas favored him. We took him as the third leg of our parlay.
I loved him.
Proceed to throw Harrison under the bus here. I'll let you take the floor with your chest out.
Yeah. Chest back to the pavement, just backing the bus up. Man, I liked Christian Leroy Duncan. And I think if you just had the first round in a capsule, you can see why. Now, at the same time, you can also see that if that doesn't work, he is going to gas himself out because there was no energy management in any of the usage of that. Like, I was getting a little upset when he wasn't landing him outside the first 2.5 minutes. Like, all right, bro, now you just got to chill and, like, figure it out. And
I'm glad you said that. I found myself, honestly, like, rooting against our parlay. I was so annoyed with Christian Leroy Duncan. I was, like, literally rooting for Petrosny. And even, like, the parlay was still alive. Like, I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, like, it was tough, dude. Like,
I was annoying.
Yeah, I was literally sitting here and like
strong. I was out of line there. Not fuck this guy, but like, just he was doing too. Like, all right, it's one thing if you're doing it and it's working. Fucking Yair Rodriguez that shit up. But when it's not, you kind of look like a fucking clown. And it's like, all right, fucking do some shit that works. Like, it's one thing if you like can't find your jab or your 1-2 or your calf kick. Like, if you're trying the basics and they're not working, I'm like, all right, what do you do? But all right, you're trying like the most exotic of exotic video game moves and it's not working. It's like, throw a fucking jab, see if that works. Like
it was almost like a guy just like spamming buttons. Is kind of what it felt like on a game. You know what I mean? That has like no care about the cardio or doesn't really
no fight IQ.
Right, like zero fight IQ is really what it was. Like he just didn't have like clearly the skills are there, like the techniques are there. He needs to be more patient with them and obviously do more feints and set those things up because if he does possess, like they were fast, right? Like he got very close to hurting Petrosny multiple times.
So long. Those kicks, especially when they're spinning and hooking and those kicks are long, but yeah, they were whipping. I mean, and Petrosny, I mean, all the credit in the world looks like fundamentals. Like he was Army running the triple option and winning the game 21-17. Like he did like I don't know, like he was playing like spread offense, flashy. He was like Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan, just like. We're just gonna fucking do the little things right, and we're gonna beat you. Like it was very flash versus meat and potatoes, and meat and potatoes was winning. I mean, busted our parlay, busted Christian Leroy Duncan, his undefeated streak. Yeah, man. I mean, I scored at 30-27. No, actually. I did give Duncan the third round, but either way, Petrosny clearly won the fight. But yeah, man, I mean, Christian Leroy Duncan, I see what you're saying. Talent there, but like, I don't know, is that coaching that's coming up with these game plans? Is that him being a maverick, a renegade? Like, does he need a new camp? Like, if his coaches are telling him to do this shit in the UFC, like, all right, you need to go train in Florida with them, boy. Or, you know what I'm saying? Get a different camp, Vegas. You know, Extreme Couture, something else. Because if your coaches are telling you to do this fucking dumb shit, then that's bad advice. But
I agree, man. Like And honestly, he needs to be patient with his striking. Like, he needs to look at a guy like Sean O'Malley that can do the same assortment of strikes. Like, Sean O'Malley could fight that same style, right, and do that crazy shit back to back.
But he wouldn't be where he's at.
Right. Absolutely not. And having the patience and feinting, like showing the strike, time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you gain feints, so you start feinting those strikes to open up other strikes. Like, it's a chess match, and I feel like Christian Leroy Duncan was playing checkers. And that's a real problem in striking. You can't play checkers in striking.
No, for sure. Like, it's cool when it works, man. But, like, if not, you kind of look like a fool. And we'll keep it pushing, man, to the, I guess, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. Co-main event, Arman Sarukian, Joaquim Silva. Everyone's pulling out.
We kind of got to spend some time on this fight. I had it tied going to the third round.
Which one? Which one?
Sarukian Silva?
Oh, Sarukian Silva. See, man, I have a different take. Because, like I said, I watched these fights like 3 days after it happened, so it's almost impossible. I'm addicted to my phone like everyone else. Like, you're going to get some spoilers. And everybody made this fight seem like it was like burner or that. Bro, Silva landed one good punch. That's my take. I'm fucking burning the house down on this one. All of Twitter, apparently your mark ass, was everybody, Joaquim Silva almost beat Sarukian. Oh, that was close. That fight was not close. There was, like,
fight wasn't close, but the way scoring works, like, I had 10-9 first.
The way scoring works, well, this is where, like, I'm saying this with my chest out. Sarukian still won that round. That was one punch. Recovered phenomenally well. He recovered and got his own damage off. And got damage off before that one punch. It was one punch. Most overrated. Dude, I'm bullish on this. Because I was reading all the hype, and Arvon was minus 1,050. And I was on Twitter, I was like, we got ourselves. I couldn't wait. I was watching the fights 3 days late, and I was like, this is going to be sick. We almost see Arman lose. And then I saw you see Arman.
You do almost see him lose.
I see you know what I see? I see Arman do 99% perfect, flawless victory. One punch.
It's the hardest he's ever been hit in his whole career that we've seen.
One time.
But look at who he's fought. He's fought a lot of crazy guys. So for him to almost get finished, like, I had to give the round to Silva. Like, I know that Sarukian won 19, 20, 19, you know what I'm saying, 95% of the round. However, that was the most important moment of that round.
Dude, I had it as a close round, and I did obviously have to, like, weigh my options. But, like, even one punch with some good follow-up or one punch and some control time.
Sarukian did a good job of running around and avoiding anything. Like, after, I'm saying, but he was, like, on the most wobbly chicken legs, and Silva's not that good of a fighter. Like, if a better fighter lands that shot, he probably finishes Sarukian.
Well, Silva's known as being a power puncher, so I think, I don't know. Like, that was
Poirier's not, and Gaethje's not, and Chandler's not.
But I'm saying that's what this guy, like, there's a difference between a guy like those guys that are, like, elite athletes and, like, this guy, like, wings power shots and, like, that's his, like, path to victory. He's like, what's the light heavyweight from Poland that, like,
light heavyweight? Jan?
The stumpy. No, the stump, not the not good one. Like, the unranked, there's, like, a stumpy, unranked Polish guy that, like, he just throws, like, bombs. Yes, exactly.
Alex Sajik.
Like that's what he does. He's a power puncher. Like, there's a difference between being that and, like, being, like, an elite fighter that puts guys out. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, Joaquim Silva is more of an Oleg Sajik. Like, that's his path. That was his path to victory.
Okay, now let me ask you from promotion perspective, because we kind of got to talk about where he gets to move going forward here. I think that's important as a number 8 lightweight guy. Lightweight's super important division in that backside.
Yeah, premier division.
Now, for me, having guys pull out and then still taking this fight and showing up, and I mean, obviously, he didn't want to waste his trip and make that weight cut again, I'm sure, but also good Armenian fan base, whatever. I think he fights up. Now, he's obviously fought Gamrot before. That was insanely close. So you could do that again. Has he fought Fiziev?
I don't believe he's fought Fiziev. I kind of didn't hate his call out of Chandler because, like, everyone knows
Chandler
that McGregor
needs a
fight's
fight.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Bro, you heard it here first. I've been on that shit for weeks. When all the marks were out and saying, "I can't wait to watch McGregor fight Chandler," I was like, "I don't know, bro." I've been on that. I've been on that. This fight ain't happening. Like, way ahead of the curve. I'm gonna stick my chest out on that one. So the Chandler fight makes a lot of sense now. I mean, it probably doesn't make sense for Chandler, but like, also RDA makes a certain level of sense if you're trying to build the stardom.
Yeah.
But also RDA probably isn't making 155 again, is what a lot of people say. I think that's like they kind of consider him a welterweight, kind of like we consider Hamza a middleweight. So I mean, Fiziev would make sense. He's coming off a loss. Beneil, if they really want to give him the juicy
I was going to say Beneil.
Beneil, you could do Beneil.
I see a lot of sense with Beneil. I can see Chandler Gamrot. Chandler Gamrot's actually a fire-ass fight because, like, both guys can wrestle their ass off, and both guys have pretty good hands.
Chandler and Fiziev haven't fought, right?
No, also a very good fight.
I think that's the direction the UFC is more likely to go.
God,
because that's fireworks.
Gaethje and Chandler back to back.
That's fireworks. That's fireworks.
But you know, Fiziev's down for it. Like, he is that dog.
Oh, I know.
Like, he is a dog.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. I think
everything's fun. I think 4 back to 8, everything in there is fun that you do. Everything. Now you get up to Gaethje, Poirier, Oliveira, Islam, it gets really bottlenecked again, and it sucks that Gaethje, Poirier, and Oliveira have kept this bottleneck on the division essentially, and not really been the belt holders. Like, they've just kind of interchanged until Islam got here, and now it's like the one true champ showed up, so now these guys are just going to hold reign over 1, 2, 3. Like, it's just going to stalemate this division again.
That's why you got to do some of these matchups. Like, some of them got to fight Fiziev, and some of them got to fight Gamrot, and some of them got to fight Sarukian. It's almost like you got to see the forest through the trees. Those aren't the matchups that are going to make the UFC more money today. But over the next, like, 3 years, 4 years,
right.
you got to get these guys these big fights. It's a long play. It's a long play. You can't just go instant gratification and have these guys keep fighting each other. But I'll say, and this is kind of a weird take, and we can keep it pushing, but, like, as far as bottlenecks go, that's a pretty goddamn awesome bottleneck. I mean, also
super entertaining.
Gaethje and Poirier don't have that many fights left. I feel confident in saying we don't see them fight maximum 3 more times. Probably not. Probably 2.
Yeah, I think Gaethje probably is. I mean, he could retire if he loses.
One if it's a loss.
Right.
Yes.
Literally, I think he's one more run.
Maybe 2 fights, win or lose. He's going to get this BMF payday. Him and Gaethje are both going to get this BMF payday, right? I think they get some extra pay-per-view points with that. They're going to get this big payday, potentially a belt. Obviously, gets the belt, somewhat of a consolation prize, like go out on top. Whatever, the belt doesn't have a lineage, you can't defend it. Would make sense for the winner or the loser, maybe both to retire, quite frankly. That's what I'm saying. Well, maybe we see these guys, I mean, maximum 2 more times, but minimum 1 more time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So I think that takes care of the bottleneck.
And also, Benny's,
and like I said,
Benny's old.
Chandler's getting old. 36, right? 36? 1,000%. So you got Jalen Turner. You got Jalen Turner coming up. You got all the guys at the back end, the Grant Dawsons, Patty lurking around somewhere.
You know what's crazy is if enough of these guys just age out and Patty just kind of keeps getting slightly better, he kind of could make a top 5 push by the end of his career, I think.
Yeah, which that's the path for Patty stardom, in my opinion. I think the UFC sees that too. That's why they're not booking it.
And I think he might know that himself.
Yeah, no, there's something to that for sure. But granted, Armand's like 26, so I don't know, he's gonna have to deal with that at some point. That's I know how I'm betting that one.
Because he's not that old, and Islam's not that old.
See, I think Islam maybe defends 2-3 times and then retires on Khabib shit.
I think he
I
wants
honestly
to.
feel that way.
I
I feel
think
that
he's
way.
going to do what Khabib couldn't. Because I think the plan. Well, I guess the plan for Khabib was 30-0, but like Islam's already has a loss. So for him, I think he's going to try to just get the longest title reign at lightweight of all time.
That would shock me. I think something else he could do that Khabib never did do. I'm not going to say couldn't do because he probably could have, but didn't. Is like get a double champ 70-pound. Like him and Leon's already being whispered about. Like that works. Like you could do that. So I think that I think if Islam is double champ, then we talk about.
Yeah, but did you see?
He,
Islam also did recently say he was like, I hear the people questioning about Oliveira after his last performance, and he was like, that just means I have to go silence him once more. I was like, well, sounds like he's down for whatever challenge.
Yeah, for sure, man. And we'll keep pushing this main event. Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier. A fight that honestly I wasn't looking forward to. A fight that I thought was going to be boring.
Absolutely not
cool.
boring. Absolutely
No.
Chin of the year contender Marvin Vettori.
Yeah, and honestly, I had myself considering probably not going to go through it. It'd probably be a boring segment, but cardio of the year, lame category. But dude, Cannonier, and then you had it's a 39 muscle bound middleweight. Usually we have these conversations about the lower weight classes, right? These guys that can push an insane pace, or Colby Covington's known for it, but he's not a muscle bound guy. He has no pecs. To look at Jared Cannonier's built like Paulo Costa, dog. It's nuts.
Well, and he cuts a lot of weight. You know what's crazy? This is so fucking dumb to me that I was driving to the gas station, right, to get this water and this energy drink, and out here from 2 a.m. to 2:30, they play a program from VSiN, the Vegas Sports Inside Network or whatever. It's the radio station they turn over to at night.
I'm listening. I'm gonna grab a drink.
On franchise, right? So, shout out 107.7. But so they were talking. It's called First Strike. It's all about UFC fights, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And it's they're gambling expert breaking down fights, discussing them. He had talked about how Cannonier, by decision, was the ticket that he was most hype on the value for. So fuck you for that. You literally got one of the sharpest insider picks that I guess was available, and by your own distinction. And that being said, he said that was going to be because of Jared Cannonier's footwork, because Marvin Vettori had straight line buzzing attacks, which don't normally work against Cannonier. You need to have good footwork to attack him. And if you do, then you can shut down his offense. But if you don't, then his offense gets started. And once he gets started, he doesn't stop. That was his whole breakdown. And I was like, well, that is essentially how that worked.
No, totally. And man, Cannonier... Before this fight, the best we had seen Cannonier look was against Brunson. But we were talking a little bit before the show started, and I was saying how that was more so Brunson looking bad and old than Cannonier. I mean, Cannonier was a violent knockout, but Brunson didn't look great. Then we saw the snooze fest Izzy fight, which we watched together in person, right? That was and
God, blue balls.
So lame, right? We've been dying to watch a fight together for years. And we finally do. It's an Izzy pay-per-view, and we're Jews and having a great night. And then they give us this fucking stinker. And I think Jared Cannonier lost a lot of fans. It was whatever, and he's getting older, and it's just this guy doesn't really matter anymore. And he puts on this performance, and bro, there's so many things. I don't know if I've seen, and I'm going to include Izzy statement. If I've seen a middleweight look that quick, round 5, like Max Holloway in there, the way he was pumping the jet, just the quickness and I mean, we've seen guys land stuff in rounds 4 and 5, but a big muscle bound guy with fast twitch, and bringing the hand back to the chin and just he was. That performance was on another level.
It's very strange, right? Because he threw 428 strikes, 411 of them being significant strikes. So you'd think just the strike total would gas him out. That's 80 a round roughly. And I know I know there's Certain rounds with more, obviously. But, I mean, Vettori also himself threw 302 strikes, 301 significant. And, like, if you think about both these guys kept an insane pace, I think Vettori for getting hit as much as he did and staying...
Chin of the year.
Yeah.
Chin of the year.
I mean, it's going to be
he's got a
very
record
hard.
broken on his face. Like, there's mathematical evidence that his chin is all time.
And he didn't get 10-8'd. Did you have any 10-8s?
Yes, I did, actually. And I felt very confident, and I wanted to talk to you about it. I thought round 2 was 1,000% a 10-8. I understand your point because Vettori was able to, like, have some success. Usually in a 10-8 round has, like, little to no success. And really, in no point, actually, the fight was almost stopped whenever Cannonier was dropped at the ground and pound. So that's like one old school definition of a 10-8. Like, could this be stopped?
I definitely had it up for debate. I thought Vettori did just enough to avoid it, is what I had in my notes.
I have in my notes Marvin Vettori, insane chin and fighting back. It's the fighting back. It's really like, but I also was like, you can't punish Cannonier for that. I was like, Cannonier, that was a 10-8 performance. Like, that was a 10-8 on Cannonier's end, and that's who I'm scoring it for. Like, good on Vettori. Like, good on him. Year nomination, nutsack of the year nomination, whatever you want to call it. Randy Marsh, wheelbarrow nuts in it around. But, like, from Cannonier, I'm scoring the round for Cannonier. Like, Cannonier put on a 10-8 performance. And I feel like pretty bullish about that.
Fair. Now, that
also gave Vettori the first round.
Just was about to ask. I was going to say the turnaround between rounds 1 and 2 was very surprising as well.
Yeah, but it's not like Cannonier had a dog shit first round. Like, he hurt Marvin Vettori, and it was a fun round. Essentially, it was like caveman math. Vettori hurt Cannonier twice. Cannonier hurt Vettori once. Vettori wins the round. But round 1 was a banger. It was off to a great start. I was like, this fight's not going to be boring. We were worried it was going to be boring. It was not. From the jump. Vettori won round 1. Also, Vettori is known for kind of having like Bilal Muhammad, like non-finishing power. When he hurt Cannonier twice in round 1, I was like, for all the nice things we said about Cannonier, those may have been the best, like most impressive, fun to watch, exciting strikes we've ever seen Vettori land.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I wasn't the biggest stock down on Vettori, to be quite honest. It was just such a crazy stock up.
He looked like the third best guy in the world.
And Cannonier just looked like the next guy up behind Izzy. Yeah.
Especially with Pereira up at light heavyweight.
Right. Yeah, Pereira would be a lot of... Well, I don't know. Pereira Cannonier is interesting.
You know what, though? I think Pereira puts Cannonier out. Like, if we saw him with Marvin Vettori wobble Cannonier, like, I mean, I know that's like bro math, like MMA math, but if you're getting wobbled by Vettori, you're getting slept by Pereira. Like, I'll caveman math that one.
Yeah, it's just almost like I wonder if he's big enough. Like, he cuts so much weight that I wonder if, like, he can match him in size.
Well, don't forget that Cannonier's 5'11", bro. He's my height.
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
true.
The matchup like that, like, that's tough, dog.
That's
true.
Tough. That's true.
But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, the real storyline of this fight is we see Jared Cannonier break the middleweight strikes. Was it strikes landed or strikes thrown? Was it both, probably?
I believe both, yeah. And fourth most all-time strikes landed.
Well, and the crazy thing is he breaks the record like halfway through the 4th round. So he does it in not even 25 full minutes. And he does it in a fight in which he lost the first round. Like when Holloway set the record on Cater, it was from pillar to post. Like it was
that fight.
Never had a round like Vettori's round 1. Like he wishes he did. You know what I'm saying? And like so that record made sense. It was 25 minutes of fucking machine gun. Bro. But like this fight wasn't like so. Once again, as a guy, I watched these fights three days late. I had a couple spoilers. Obviously, the big spoiler, there was not going to hide it from me that Cannonier broke a record for strikes landed. So it was crazy for me watching the fight with that context, with that knowledge, with that spoiler. Imagine how I felt in round 1. I was like, how did this even happen?
Yeah,
and then so to have it not have, and essentially he broke the kind of me taking a little leap here, but he essentially broke a 5-round record in 3 rounds. If you think around, it was rounds 2 through 4, and really only half of 4. He broke the record in like 12 minutes.
Yeah, but the record was what, like 160? Like he set it by a lot.
Yeah, he almost doubled it.
Right. Like it was like 100.
270.
Yeah, because I think it was like 100
160 or something,
or like 148 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the big takeaway. Like, which on the flip side of that is a guy eating all that. Vettori, like I said, chin of the year, nutsack of the year, big dick energy of the year, whatever you want to call it. Like, the guy took a beating like no other. Like, I think him and Calvin Kattar are like in a club of their own of like getting records set on their face. Like,
Yeah, brutal.
not a
too.
club you want to be in, but it's also like kind of a badass club to be in. Like the baddest of them. I mean,
Also, or I was gonna say, what do you think's next for Cannonier? He gets the loser of Vettori Duplessis, or the loser. I'm sorry,
or
loser of Whitaker Duplessis.
Duplessis Vettori is interesting because they're like the same guy, in my opinion. Like in my head, they're like this. Like that's the same guy. Like I think. I mean, the press conferences would be fire. The fight itself, like it just like blitz at each other. Like it would be like some like I don't know. I think Duplessis Vettori. Because Duplessis is losing to Whitaker. I'm sorry, I'm not budging off that. Like I will come with an.
So what's Cannonier do? Does he just sit there and wait? You think?
You know what's fucked up on my part, and it's a hell of a fucked up reward, but it's where my brain went in the moment when I watched these fights. Hamzat Cannonier.
Oh my god.
Bro, it works. Hamzat's the number 1 contender in any weight class he wants to like do it in, quite
That's
frankly.
True. That's true.
It's a big fight. It's a main event. It probably gets Cannonier pay-per-view points, which I don't know how many other these matchups are going to do. Maybe with him and Whitaker. He already fought Whitaker, and it wasn't that great of a fight. Nobody wants to see it again. So it's like, call me a dickhead in the moment, because it's not an easy question to answer. It's not. I mean, it's not an easy question to answer. Does he sit out and pull a Colby Covington and just fight Izzy in like 18 months or whatever? Or the Hamzat fight kind of makes sense. I mean, it kind of does. I mean,
well, he's too old to wait, so I think it makes the most sense.
Right. He's going to be 40 in like what, 9 months or like whatever it is. Like, goddamn, he's got to be on it. Yeah, I mean, Rob's booked. He just beat Vettori. You're going to make him fight all the way back to Costa?
Yeah, no way. I think Hamzat Cannonier makes a lot of sense. I think Cannonier's enough of a dog to take it.
I'm glad you agree with that take, because it's kind of a random take, but if you know, like
it adds up sense. As far as like where that division's at, and with like what's on the line for Duplessis and Whitaker. Like the winner gets Izzy. That's pretty much spoken for.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so you scored at 49-45 for Cannonier, right?
49-46. I didn't have the 10-8.
Oh, you didn't have the 10-8. Okay, so 2 judges agree with my scorecard, right?
Yeah, and then one gave 48-46.
For sure, man, and that was definitely fun to talk about. Way better card than I thought it was going to be. On paper, was not juiced for that card. Ended up being fun. Now, next week, we got Emmett to Topuria, which I got a sick picture of, like, a poster in Vegas, like, of, like,
oh, nice.
It's pretty dope. I missed, it was, like, one of those posters, like, the little things that, like, change, and, like, I, like, ran up to get it was, like, the Strickland, who's he fighting, Magomedov?
Yeah, Magomedov, yeah.
And I, like, ran up to get a picture. I just missed it, but then it changed to Emmett Topuria. I was like, low-key a better picture anyway. I'll take this one. But man, I mean, so we were talking about it before we went live about how Emmett's a live dog here. Live dog here.
Oh, super live dog. I mean, the disrespect at plus 270 is crazy. Like that's Yanni Sprinkle City. Now, I don't know if it's by KO TKO, surprisingly. I think the actual Sprinkle is the Emmett decision.
I bet the odds are bigger on
Or,
Emmett's decision because he's known as a knockout guy.
Yeah, and maybe Topuria does get finished late, so it's a little dangerous there. But I think Emmett will slow down later, and I think the later rounds are probably Topuria rounds. But I think Emmett kind of dominates 1 through 3, 1 through 4.
So this is interesting for me. I've been going back and forth. I got a Topuria rookie card right here. Like I have quite literally bought stock in Topuria. I believer in Topuria. Almost all the pundits are saying this guy's like a future title challenger. That being said, we're going through all the guys Topuria's fight. I don't think he's ever fought anybody as big as him. At least as like strong, like muscled up, like maybe height or whatever. But like he's never fought anybody with the power of Emmett. I really don't think he's ever fought as good of a wrestler as Emmett. He's obviously the highest ranked guy he's ever fought. Like, this is, in so many ways, kind of a bad matchup for Topuria.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best camp he's had to fight against too. So like game planning and coaching will be the best he's had to face.
Yeah, Faber can definitely find holes in a guy like Topuria where other guys haven't been able to find those holes. And Emmett, we're just talking about like, oh, to see what Topuria did to Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, we all saw it. Emmett's about the furthest thing from a Bryce Mitchell stylistically, athletically, everything. Like, he's the anti-Bryce Mitchell. So, like, for the people that are trying to do MMA math here and fucking work their way of, oh, he did that to Bryce Mitchell, so that the ipso facto, he can do that to Josh Emmett. Like, let me stop you right there. Like, about as different of a guy from Bryce Mitchell as you can find in the weight class.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Now, that being said, I think that's the kind of the Yanni Sprinkle take. I think the real line here is over under. Vegas has it right now at 2.5 rounds and a 5-round fight, and it over 2.5 is plus 160.
With
plus
each guy has
170.
finishing power. Each guy has finishing power. Each guy is dangerous.
Agreed. I think both guys try to wrestle a little more because of that.
Yeah, they both know what we know. They're not like Topuria's not trying to get cracked by Emmett, and Emmett's probably not trying to get cracked by Topuria. I feel that. I see some along the cage battles taking place, some pummel battles.
I think that over, if it's plus 150 at 3.5, I think that makes sense. I think 2.5 at plus 170, plus 165.
I might go balls deep on this fight and do like an Emmett straight, an over straight, Topuria on our Beefy Boys parlay.
Yeah, that might be the way to run that one. A little sprinkle big parlay.
Big sprinkle donut. You got Heba's taking on Barber, man, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think Hebus might be on the Beefy Boy parlay. I mean, we haven't officially discussed it, but minus 200. I know as a show we're not big on Barber. Like, we're not a big Barber show. Hebus is a dog.
Definitely like Hebus in that spot. I also.
Wow! This is also the annoying. I didn't realize. I don't know if we've ever seen this before. We hate the tied rankings. They're both number 11 fighting each other.
Oh, good. We need
annoying, but
we need to have a definite. I wonder when they both come out if they're going to both have an 11 or if the UFC is going to like force them to be like, nah, you're 11, you're 12.
Someone out of the rankings real quick, yeah. For sure, man. I saw David Onama as an underdog against this Gabriel Santos guy. I'm not going to act like I know a ton about Santos, but I know a decent amount about Onama. And I have lost money betting on Onama before, but he's a freak athlete. He's an absolute dog mentally. He's a tough night out for anybody. I'm always going to be down to maybe do a little sprinkling on Onama with plus money. I think he's like plus 160 or something.
I think there's 2 fights that I really want to get your takes on. Which, on it, man, there's a lot of interesting betting lines here, man. I'll be honest. Like Tabitha Ricci, Jillian Robertson plus 110. Like, just take her by sub either way. Like,
well, and that number's dropping. Money's coming in on Robertson. Her number's gotten better by the day. People see the value there. We're not the only ones.
Trevor Peak minus 110 right now. Like, That's pretty crazy value for a guy that looked really
See,
good.
oh, I want to talk to you about that too. It's like, yes, but also the most limited skill set, the most like caveman skill set. He literally fights like he's in the back of a Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, there are definitely guys that can beat him. He's undefeated, but it's only 8-0. I've been back and forth with that Trevor Peak line because of everything I just mentioned. Like, yeah, he's an undefeated, absolute monster. Also, holes everywhere.
True. I'll put it this way: Chepe Mariscal, the guy who's fighting, has lost to every single UFC opponent he's ever fought, and he hasn't fought. Oh,
Is
I'm
this a
sorry.
feeding?
Uh, Maybe. Let me see. So he's lost to Sean Soriano, Steve Garcia, Joe Anderson Brito, Carl Deaton, Bryce Mitchell, Gregor Gillespie, and Frank Buenafuente. That's all of his losses. Every single one of those guys, minus Buenafuente, is a UFC guy. So, I mean,
Yeah,
he wins.
that might be a good matchup.
Yeah, that makes it very interesting, right?
It does.
And his only UFC win is Jordan Beltran, but that's recent.
Is Cedricus Dumas fighting Cody Brundage, or is he fighting Soriano?
No,
he's fighting
Cody
Brundage. That might be my beefy boy parlay. Speaking of holes in your game, Cedricus Dumas has 0 takedown defense, 0 get up, 0 back jiu-jitsu, and Brundage likes to get on top.
And Brundage is minus 180.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think Beefy Boys Parlay City on that one. Also, Beefy Boys Parlay City, Tatsuro Taira minus 250. I'm kind of a Taira mark. I like him. Thoughts on that?
Oh, no way.
No way?
No, I don't love
Clayton?
it. Yeah.
Rodriguez? I mean, it's his toughest matchup yet.
Yeah.
I acknowledge it's his toughest matchup yet. I acknowledge that for sure.
Yeah, I think it's too
Gave me a little
dangerous
bit
for
of
me.
pause. Okay, all right. That's why we do the Beefy Boys Parlay.
Now-
That's why I encourage you to do with your friends, people
Now-
watching at home. Like, bounce your bet ideas off your other friends, because you'll thank us. Like, I'm not saying like ride every bet your homies, but like every once in a while, checks and balances, right? Like, kind of you arrive at the proper conclusion, not just going knee jerk all the time.
Now, the last two I was wanting to talk about, Neil Magny and Phil Rowe. Neil Magny minus 170. I think that's an interesting fight either way you take it, just because I think either guy can win. But whoever
You know where the
comes down
value is? Value monster peeking his
over
little head out.
decision.
No. Magny by sub all day. Phil Rowe? Dude, I think Phil Rowe's kind of ass. Sorry. I mean,
Well, he trains with Mike
Or you-
Perry, so yeah.
you want to say that to his face? Like, probably not. But goddamn it, it's my podcast. And like,
I'll say what I
Phil
want
Rowe's
to say.
kind of ass.
Yeah.
Phil Rowe's kind of ass. Like, by UFC standards, like, talking about holes in your game. Talking about also, I've seen him like kind of quit in a couple fights. Like, hey, maybe that's debatable, but like, not the most dog of a guy by UFC standards, like compared to some other like real dogs like that we see, like Vettori and these guys. Like, he ain't that.
Definitely.
So Magny, I think Magny by sub. Here, I'm on the website real quick. Let me look it up real quick. Magny by sub, real quick. You said you like over 2.5. That's minus 205, minus 200 in most places. So Vegas agrees with you. Magny by sub, dude, plus 1,000. Dude, I'm doing a sprinkle. Fuck it.
Oh yeah.
Fuck everything.
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
what you're talking about. Phil Rowe is not a grappler. He's a
$5 to
striker.
win 50? I mean, that's better than like a lot of four-leggers.
Bro, Phil Rowe is a striker. Magny subs a lot of guys, especially when he wins, and he's favored to win.
It's a great point, actually. It's a great take. I'm definitely going to ride that sprinkle. I might be betting a lot on this card. There's a lot of misplaced. There's a lot of misplaced value on this card, and that's actually with the Vegas guy that was on strike for whatever the fuck that thing is called on the radio. No free promo. Yeah, he was saying there's a lot of misplaced values here on this card. I also think Brendan Allen by decision is pretty juicy.
Brendan Allen by decision, yeah, because minus 200. Bruno Silva. You know what though? I just Brendan Allen's a hard guy to bet on, bro. Because once you start to believe in him, he'll let you down. And once you start to doubt him, he'll prove that he's like just good enough. I don't know. I as a show, we've been pretty tough on Brendan Allen. I don't disagree with like the overall broad stroke logic of your take. It's just like Brendan Allen as a human is like a tough guy for me to like. I'm a half in, half out with Brendan Allen. Okay, I'm not like fully on the train. Like
what's the number on him by decision?
Brendan Allen by decision. Allen. What is this? Allen by the decision plus 350.
It's not bad because I think
it's I mean that's great.
I think the juice there is Allen just kind of presses Bruno Silva on the fence, works for takedowns,
but also,
and
like,
makes
Bruno
it a snooze
Silva,
fest. Because Bruno Silva's got a
tripping?
crazy chin. He fought Pereira and was one of the few that didn't get finished.
That's the guy. I was about to ask you. That's the guy. He could also knock Brendan Allen out. Like that could happen.
I agree. That's the risk.
Like, that
here.
could happen.
That's Silva KO or Allen decision. I think that's the two ways the fight goes, though.
I'm not firmly disagreeing with any of your takes here. My point is, you just alluded to there's so many bets to make on this card. It's like for me, this is just like why force this one. Like there's so many other bets. There's other things I feel stronger about. Once again, all your logic and points and takes you just made, I'm not like firmly against any of them. I just think there's maybe like better money out there, but also watching me eat dicks on this take. So I feel you. Like it's not a bad bet. I just on a card like last week I was scraping for bets. Like that's how I even came up with my hedge because I was literally combing the little kiosk looking for value, and I saw Cannonier by decision plus 280. And I was like, all right, I'll do a sprinkle. Like, I guess as good as anything else on here. Like, that's why I'm not really puffing my chest out about hitting that. I did double my money on this card, but it's like, I'm not sticking my chest out because it's like, it was a hedge. And B, it was literally like a last kind of an impulse buy, like the bag of chips in the grocery store. Like, it was a kind of an impulse buy. I was like,
best bag of chips you could buy.
Yeah, I was like really scrolling. I had like $5 left to bet, and I was just like scrolling for like, what should I put it on? What I'm saying is, bring it full circle. Next week's card, there's a lot of bets. We're not grasping at straws. I don't know if I bet the Allen fight, but like once again, don't hate any of your points. But yeah, man, this was fun. Dude, I kind of like this little format. I'm not saying it's like something, but if we're ever in a pinch, like I'm down to do this.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this week's show. We'll be catching you guys for the breakdown of said card coming in, and of course we'll have a beefy parlay. Probably tweet it out, let you guys know fight day, so that you can't just run and cash all of our picks.
Yeah, we definitely need to come up with a consensus pick, get Michael's takes, but let's get this money. Let's get this money.
Yes, sir. We will see you guys next week as always.